Let me know if y'all can hear it, okay?
Tursky spoke with him and visited Horn Island, where Wells was last seen alive. Aaron joined us from Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, Michael. It is now 10 days since Nolan Wells was last seen alive, and the mystery over his death is fueling speculation and mistrust. It's putting pressure on the authorities, but the sheriff told us he wants to be thorough, not fast. This morning, with a community clamoring for answers about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends, the sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important that we don't put ourselves on a timetable and that we don't rush ourselves. But I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts. That's what the family deserves.
Wells never returned from a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The very thing that makes Horn Island such an idyllic spot to hang out for the day is what makes the case tricky for investigators. There's nothing here. There are no phones, there are no cameras, there's no police. It's why authorities have asked anyone who was here July 4th with Nolan Wells to come forward.
Even if you may think that it might be insignificant, every little bit helps. And that may be a bigger contribution than you think to this case.
Could be a public tip that breaks it open for you.
Exactly.
A close friend of Wells, Trayston Shepard, says the group spent the day swimming and drinking.
Well, we were just having fun all day, and then as the day went on, people started to drink more, and people started to get more drunk.
We asked the sheriff whether drinking or drugs played a role in Wells's death.
Of course, the rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors. We respond to facts.
And as investigators attempt to build a full timeline of the teen's movements and whereabouts that weekend, this photo showing Wells at a pool party has been circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. ABC News confirming it was taken a week before he visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspect Wells drowned, although the results of autopsies by both officials and the one the family ordered are pending. On our visit to the island, we heard from a local boat captain about how the scenic haven could quickly turn treacherous.
Down there at the end of the west end of the island, there's a current that can, get you really quick, and it gets deep.
So if you're an experienced swimmer,
Let's talk about it, Penny.
even that area of the island could be a little dodgy?
Yes, especially with the current down there at the very end. It kind of eddies. If you're out there trying to swim that deep, yeah.
His parents are now planning a funeral for their son, which his mother, Christine, posted overnight, guys, does not feel real. She said all of her emotions are running together, and her post concluded, "We miss you so much, Nolan." It looks like that funeral is going to be early next week at one of the big convention centers here. Guys.
And Aaron, is there any indication when the coroner's report will be made available, which could shed some light?
It sure could, Robin, and there's a lot riding on that coroner's report, but there's no telling when it's going to be made public. There were no obvious signs of trauma that investigators saw right away. That's why they've suspected that he drowned, but they still aren't sure exactly why or what led up to that death. And that's why they're counting on the medical examiner's report, the toxicology report, and the independent autopsy that the family is demanding.
Yeah. Need those questions answered. Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks to you for being there on the coast, Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, so that was from ABC News. I'm going to pull up another one right quick. That is, let me pull it up for y'all. Hold on one second. I think he gives like a little statement saying that they're going to go with outside help because that one didn't give me what I wanted what I initially heard. So hold on one second. Hold on, y'all. Okay, Penny, I'm gonna talk to you about. He said he didn't realize that Horn Island was underdeveloped. Yeah, there's nothing out there. There's nothing out there. It's just a piece of land, and we can pull that up too, Penny, and then I'll move on from this because I don't want to keep y'all too long tonight. So hold on one second. Let me I'm gonna pull up. Hold on, y'all. Let's see. This is from, okay, so this, what y'all just saw is from Good Morning America. So that's nationwide news. This is from the local news source there. So let me, I'm going to pull this one up. Let's see. There you go. That's what I want to click on. So this one is from the local news that's there. So they might have a little bit more insight. So we'll play this one, and then Penny, I like to look up stuff. So we're gonna look up the what exactly Horn Island is in a few minutes. Once we hear this one.
His body was found on
And I'll
Horn
speed it
Island.
up.
As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
This investigation is active, it's ongoing.
he wasn't able to confirm much.
My bad, y'all. Hold on. Technical difficulties. We gonna get to it in just 1 second. My finger clicked the wrong button. It did. It really did. Hang on, y'all. I'm gonna pull it back up. My bad, y'all. Here we go. I'm getting it together, y'all. Okay, so this is we're gonna do this again. This is from the local news station there, that's close, and this is not a nationwide news. So sometimes they give a more detailed explanation about what might be going on down that way. Let me add this to the screen. There we go.
Wells' body was found on Horn Island. As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
This investigation is active, it's ongoing.
he wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI. The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harmed Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else. I just know I've lost my best friend.
Okay, so we don't need that. That's coming up later on. So I'm gonna remove this. And Penny, we're gonna dive into Penny. Are you still here? We're gonna dive into Horn Island because a lot of people don't realize what kind of island Horn Island is. So we'll do this and then we'll move on to the next segment. So there you heard Sheriff Ledbetter say that they are seeking more information from or more I'm going to say advice from outside resources like the FBI. It is not confirmed, so do not quote me on that. It's not confirmed. So hopefully, maybe they'll bring in some of the guidance of the FBI and help them organize the investigation better than what it has been, and maybe light a fire under it. Because I feel, as a mother myself, I feel that the sheriff's office has been nonchalant when it comes to this investigation. So I'm gonna pull up this one. This is back from 2020, Penny. So, but this is a video I found on YouTube with a quick search that talks about Horn Island. Okay, so let me I'm gonna pull this one up. Let's see. Get a
So
better
we are heading into the weekend, and as always, every Friday at 6, our Walt Grayson has a story for us as he focuses on Mississippi.
Now, we're traveling about as far south as you can go in Mississippi and still be on dry land. And Walt, I am assuming we're going beyond Gulfport and Biloxi.
Yes, that's exactly right. We're going to the land where Gulf Coast artist Walter Anderson found so much inspiration. How about let's take a trip out to Horn Island? Horn Island is a part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore, so it, along with several other barrier islands, are a national park. It's also a national wilderness area. There's nothing man-made on Horn Island except a ranger cabin somewhere near the middle, and there's not always a ranger there. Anything else you might need, you have to bring it with you. And, of course, take it back when you leave. Horn Island is several miles long, but less than a mile wide at its widest point. And to the north is the Mississippi Sound. The water and the beaches there look about like they do on the Gulf Coast. But to the south is the Gulf of Mexico, and the water and beaches there look more like what you're used to in Florida, sugar white sand and turquoise water. Well, it's like that on a sunny day. Now, when a storm is brewing, the sea turns leaden gray, the waves are angry, and it's a powerful place just to stand and watch. There's a symmetry to a lot of nature on Horn Island, so I can see where Walter Anderson gets the idea for the repeated rhythms and patterns that we see in so much of his work. And the pine trees on Horn really do look like the ones Anderson renders in his watercolors. I thought they were caricatures until I saw the real pines, but that's what they look like. Sort of like spindly pines of Rome in Italy. Artists still come out to Horn Island for inspiration, alone sometimes, as members of groups a lot. They may stay overnight or a week or more. The day breaks silently with a whisper on the breeze and uncertainty in the air. It may be gray or it may be sunny, but each kind of weather brings out its own personality and traits on the island. At nighttime, you make of it what you want. A luau, a ritual dance around the fire, an unveiling of the day's artistic work. Even firing pottery at night takes on a special flavor on Horn Island. I'll admit, I'm not that much of an outdoorsman. I mean, my idea of roughing it's when the air conditioner in the hotel room keeps waking me up when it cycles on and off. But if I were an artist, especially one who specialized in capturing nature and realizing it in my work, I'd be on Horn Island tonight. Well, you go to Horn Island, Google it, or the Gulf Islands National Seashore, get more information about going out to Horn Island. But it really is just you and nature and whatever you brought in your backpack when you go out there.
So there you go, Penny. It's just an island. They do have a ranger cabin on there, but there's not a ranger that's on there all the time. So remote, away from civilization, about 10 miles off the shore of Mississippi. So there you go. So hopefully, in the coming days, especially once they get the autopsy report back, the family can get closure on how Nolan passed and the actual timeline of the actual events that led up to his death. Classic said, "Perfect island to get away with it." I mean, yeah, I agree. Classic, totally agree. Penny says, "So we have unsupervised kids alone in a remote setting with hormones going wild. Only the people that were on that island know what went down." And it's sad. It is so sad that it has taken this long. That this still continues to go on. My heart breaks for his mother, his family, his father, because from what I'm hearing, the way his mom described her son and people around him, he was a good soul. He had a good soul. Good soul. So if you are catching this on a rewatch, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave your comments, your thoughts down in the comments. Penny said, "Do we even know if there was anyone over 21 out there?" Supposedly some of the boat captains, and there was a parent, if I'm not mistaken, on the boat that don't mark my words, on the boat that Nolan and his friends rode out on and came back with, if I'm not mistaken. Classic, I know you have been diving into this a little bit deeper than I have as far as details and whatnot. Do you remember if any details came out about who was on the boat with them? Was there an adult there on the boat with them? And granted, too, I will say this, a lot of these, they say kids, well, you said 21 and over. A lot of these young adults were out there, 18 plus, I would say. There were probably very few people out there that were under 18, if I'm not mistaken. Penny says, so no head count was done before returning home. Penny, it's been a lot of speculation on whether he left the island with the same folks he came with, whether they whether he told them, hey, I'm going to ride back with somebody else. I'm staying out here. It's been a lot of speculation back and forth. Ted said, get away from Horny Island. So, unfortunately, without anyone coming forward with the details, the honest details that went on, I'm hoping that somebody has it in their heart to say, hey, this is what really happened. Classic said the boats have captains from what I've learned. Okay. Do you know if there was an adult on there plus the captain? Javon stated they left. So they left without him. Penny said it sounded like a sandals commercial. Yeah, Javon. So they left without him. The boat that he came in on, they left without him. So yeah, my heart hurts for his mom and his dad, the whole family. Yeah, so I'm going to conclude this segment because we can go on and on forever. I'm going to go ahead and move forward with Classic said, no, they all left. So so they're saying everybody left and Nolan stayed. Javon ain't come with it. Oh, okay. So the best friend left him on a remote island. That's wild. I don't think CJ, I think he's separate. Penny, I think he's separated from Javon. Like, they didn't even go together. That's to say Javon didn't pull up with Nolan. Right. They didn't go together. He saw it then. Okay. So they rode on different boats in. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and conclude this because we can, like I said, we can stay on this forever and continue to talk about it.